libération du continent africain. Son Excellence vient partager ici à Ouagadougou avec nous une réflexion profonde sur l'histoire des mouvements de libération en Afrique. Oui, une parole d'espérance, de mémoire et de conviction. Mesdames et messieurs, merci d'accueillir avec respect et admiration une fois de plus son Excellence Jacob Zuma. Merci. Excellence, vous avez la parole.
Thank you, everyone. We are so excited to have our former President Zuma of South Africa here with us today. President Zuma is a South African politician and former president. He joined the African National Congress in 1959 and the ANC's armed wing, Umkhonto, in 1962. He spent years in Robben Island and other anti-apartheid activists. After his release, Zuma went into exile and became the ANC organizer in Southern Africa. After the end of apartheid, he rose quickly in politics, serving as deputy president of South Africa and later as president of South Africa. His presidency expanded social programs and infrastructure investment, and he has been known for his vitality for his African people, for the advancement of his South African people and people on the continent of Africa. We are so thankful to have him in his presence. On this panel with him, we have Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chihamburi, who is the founder of ADDI, as well as our ambassador from Burkina Faso to the United States, His Excellency Kulubali. And so we are thankful for His Excellency Kulubali. He has made this for us to be here in Burkina Faso with the director of the diaspora. So please stand and give them a warm welcome as we get this panel started. Thank you.
Excellence, Jacob Zuma, vous avez la parole. Merci. Je rappelle que la leçon inaugurale, son Excellence Jacob Zuma, sera centrée sur l'histoire des mouvements de libération en Afrique. Merci.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. The day that you all have been waiting for is here. Our father, His Excellency, President Zuma, Jacob Zuma, former President of South Africa. As all of you know him. You know him for his Pan-Africanism. Last year, I had the opportunity to be invited to one of his events in which he took us to Robben Island, the prison where he and Nelson Mandela spent many years fighting for what we believed in. He personally gave us a tour of Robben Island. We saw the concrete floors that both of them slept in. I did not know that they were given a shirt and a pair of shorts, and they were barefooted all day working in the quarry. And at the end of the day, but I need to drink some water. At the end of the day, they had to take off their clothes and fold them and leave them outside the door of the cell. I want you to pay attention to this. You spend the whole day in the heat. And then when you come back, the cell was a tiny little place. And you take off your clothes. And you leave them outside the door. And you walk into this concrete place and lie down. And do that for years. They had a bucket that they would do their business number 1 and 2 in. And in the morning, you have to carry your bucket out and empty your own evacuated contents. Try doing that for 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, because you believe in what is right. You believe in standing up for what belongs to you, standing up for what is right. So the man sitting in front of us today has gone through so much to fight for the liberation of African people. And he's continuing to fight and reminding us that we're not yet there. Africa's liberation is not going to be handed to us. We have to fight for it. And he also has made a diagnosis that the reason to this day that we're not able to stand up and fight for what belongs to us is because we were defeated where it matters the most, to mine. He also understands that we don't know our history. We are lost. Because if you don't know your history, how do you plan the future? So when President Zuma found out that we were coming here in numbers, he said, Ambassador, I need to come and tell the children of Africa, descendants of the formerly enslaved, the history of the liberation movements in Africa. Because many of you take a lot of things for granted. You must know the truth. So when you're fighting, you understand why you're fighting. And you gotta know who is the enemy. Define him, name him or her by name. Because ours is a simple fact. We're simply asking the world to do unto us as they would want done unto them. That's it. In spite of what they have done to us, we're not bitter. We're simply saying, leave us alone to do our thing. If we choose to waste our natural resources, it's our choice.
That's right.
It's not up to you to tell us that we're mistreating and abusing our natural resources. They're ours. Let us do whatever we want. And who gave you the authority to tell us what's right and what is wrong? We have given them so much power over us. That has got to change. But for you to be able to stand up and stand your ground, You must have the backbone, the history, what has happened before, what our ancestors did, what the likes of President Zuma have done for you to be where you are today. You must know our history. So today, like I told you the other day, when we have big people arrive in our village, we say we've been stepped on. Today, we've been stepped on in a big way. President Zuma is here. We're going to hear it from the horse's mouth. Our history of the liberation struggle in Africa. But it's also going to remind you that while we may have covered some miles, the journey is still long. We have not yet arrived to the promised land, and that it is up to us, generation after generation, to leave behind the history and why this struggle must continue. And let us continue.
Pour résumer ce que Maman Canel vient de vous dire, c'était très long, mais je vais faire le meilleur que je puisse. Nous avons un monument de la libération du peuple noir. Bon. Le président Zuma, il était en prison avec Nelson Mandela. Personne n'a oublié qui est Nelson Mandela. Il a passé 25 ans en prison. Donc il fait partie de cet aspect de l'histoire de l'Afrique qui a du poids. Et cette histoire doit être transmise à cette nouvelle génération afin de comprendre les tenants et les aboutissants, n'est-ce pas, de toute la bagarre que nous avons devant nous. C'est vrai que nous avons couvert beaucoup de terrain, mais le combat n'est pas fini. Nous avons devant nous un grand monument de libération du peuple noir. Et je vous en prie, joignez-vous à nous pour célébrer la grandeur de président Zuma qui est un monument pour notre libération.
Show us. We call him Baba, B-A-B-A. We hope that Baba will show us his famous dance of the Mishiniwami. Now keep working on it and see if we can have it, because I really want you all to dance with him. Because those were the songs they sang during the liberation movement when he was in guerrilla warfare, and that's how they motivated themselves to make sure that they remind ourselves as to why we are in this struggle. So we'll make sure that, if possible, we can play it and then have him dance with us before he departs. Thank you.
Alors ça c'est une chanson qui représente l'esprit combattant, n'est-ce pas, des Sud-Africains. Nous sommes désolés pour les désagréments du point de vue technologique, mais nous allons trouver un moment de rejouer cette chanson et nous allons danser avec l'esprit sud-africain de combattant. On est d'accord?
Well, Papa is getting ready to address us. He needs no introduction. All of you have followed him. Many of you did not know him prior to independence, the independence of South Africa. But as much as you've heard the history of Nelson Mandela, guess who was right there with him? It is His Excellency, President Jacob Zuma. His cell was just a few cells away from President Nelson Mandela's cell. I hope one day all of you will have an opportunity to go to Robben Island and hear the history and the conditions under which they lived in. They gave it all up for the independence of not only South Africa, but the liberation of all of Africa. He's sitting here with us today. He said, Ambassador, I want to be the one to tell the children our story, our history of the liberation struggle. Because he understands, while we have moved a few small mountains, the bigger mountains are yet to be moved. And unless you children understand the history, unless us young ones, I'm older than a lot of you, unless young ones continue to know the history, President Zuma had made the diagnosis that we are victims of ignorance, lack of understanding of our history. This has got to change. So you all should feel blessed today that you're going to be hearing from our elder who is determined to do his part to wake us up through the journey of our history and the struggles to liberate the African continent. Please stand up, put your hands together.
Levez-vous.
For His Excellency. President Zuma.
Excuse me. Tu sais qu'il y a le deuxième baladeur. C'est ça, on est en train de...
Deuxième micro baladeur. Deuxième micro baladeur. Deuxième micro baladeur.
Oui, oui, la deux là, c'était avec.
Can you stand? Also situated. Thank you, comrades and sisters and brothers. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I must apologize to cause the chaos because this thing was standing there. And I saw the brothers and sisters who are reporters moving down there, shifting things. But the result of it is that if we were standing there, they would be interfering with the kind of thing who's who. Because these guys who can't deal with them when they're here. They don't care whether somebody inside, behind here, can't see. So we thought it was better to come here so that everything is I want to apologize that I just interfered with arrangements. But you will agree, we old ones see things differently. But thank you very much, Director of the program, for this opportunity. I would also like to thank our brothers and sisters from different parts of the world who are here, as well as the heroes of this country in particular, of what they've done to bring a change to our country.
Je remercie le gouvernement, donc la mairie, pour le travail de la mairie qu'ils sont en train de faire. Ce sont les raisons pour lesquelles nous sommes ici pour vous soutenir.
I feel very happy that today I'm in the midst of our brothers and friends and comrades and sisters in this part of our continent. I am feeling that the journey to finally liberate us, the Africans, is very close. Well, this little man standing here, Jacob Zuma, he has a lot of names. Jacob, Zuma. They all mean a lot, at least the last two. The other one is Yadi Patrick, a name named by my parents when they were making me a Christian. But Fegisa, Isanganyelo, those are the names in the Zulu language. My interest to the president, people continent, came as a result of the atrocities that were done by white people. In the Cape of South Africa, were not necessarily the British. They were different. Who find the way to go through. And the British came, but that was later. It was first Christians came, or people who believe, because the idea that came at the beginning, after the whites generally got to know there was such a huge place where we had everything, they wanted to come and interfere with us and oppress us. they sent first to all who came, they were called something. Bazomkhumbuza laba bakithi. Labefundisa abafika kuqala. Not colonization, before colonization, they were called missionaries. The idea why they were sent to Africa in that way is because the whites had realized we were here and they wanted them to come and tame us, teach us who they are, what they do, etc., etc. In other words, they wanted to be so kind, so listening, so everything, that will end up being slaves. And of course, they came to Africa, did something that no one could do. To find people living in Africa and take them by force to go and work for them in every way. I always have a problem that we forget that particular part. We forget it. We think it looks like normal. Many died fighting and refusing to go. Others were put in the sea. Others were jumping on their own. It's a history that the world does not want to talk about. They think everything was just fine. It was after that period that colonization came. In the area where I come from, called Uganda, the last battle with the British took place. And that's a battle that as I was growing up, I was told how ruthless they were in killing people, creating camps, etc. And it is that made me, as I grew up, to hate whites. The end result was the old people are telling us what happened. The end result, because my father died when I was young. At 16, I went to work in Durban. And I've been saying, well, there was an organization called African National Congress, ANC. It was already operating. I thought it was important for me to join it as quickly as possible to fight for the liberation of us black ones. But when I went to the office of the ANC, I was told, when I said I want to join, blah, 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 I was asked, how old are you? I said, I was 18. They said, sorry, children don't join. Only elder people join from 18. When I was going, I was 16, by the way. I'm not saying I was 17. When I was 17 with my brother, I said, well, we look like those who are 18, why not go in a different office? and asked to join. That's what we did. And we were made to receive our membership card. It was before the right space as a human being. Because I was in a hurry to fight and defeat the oppressor. That's where my life begins. And the story of Africa is a long story of different countries. Those who suffered from different people, whether the British or others and others, whatever. It is absolutely a big problem that at times faces us as Africans. People came from wherever they are to come and just deal with us, have many other things. I think, I don't know the figures in other areas, but I take it that Africa had a huge number of people who were taken here to make slaves. I always wonder why we shy away from discussing this issue with Africans. But it is put aside as if something happened before God himself was there. And yet, it happened just years ago. White people came here with guns and fought us. And because we were having heavy stuff, they succeeded to do something very fun, calling their friends that all of us let us go to Africa and cut Africa into pieces. We will have your own place, your own place, your own place, your own place. So we, the owners, we did not describe that there are areas where you cannot be. We were walking throughout Africa, up and down, doing what God, if that is the word, had helped us to give. Because we have everything in Africa. They wanted to come, to steal, to take by force, to do whatever that belongs to us. There is a long journey to talk about it, which in my view, Africans ought to sit and talk about.
That's right.
Where do we come from?
That's right.
And how could we finally correct the wrongs that were done to us? So as a young man, I believed that I needed to fight to defend our country. I must say, white people are rude.
Yes, they are.
And they are having hearts that I don't know where they got from. By living their own and come here to interfere with us, wanting to change us, to think like them, to speak like them as we do. But it went with almost destroying us. Finally, they believed they are in charge of everything. they created places where they said, this is my place, your place is that side. These were our places. We're not taken as human beings. In fact, as they called us slaves, they thought we were just something to be sold, to be bought, to be killed. Until at some point, some of them realized, man, these are human beings. And then at one point there was a declaration of ending slavery. It was done by them when they wanted. We had no role to play. But we remained subjects, as we were called. Subjects of them. They were white, they were staying there, they were sending their workers to come and deal with us in whatever way. New names emerged, calling us the colonized people. Of course, with time, our brothers and sisters of the time began to say, no, we needed to be free. Yes. Partly because even if they were fighting their wars, they would fetch us here to go and work there with them. So at the end, they agreed that if we want freedom, we can give you guys. Because we had said, we want to be free. In other words, black people, again, not for the first time, because of that area or that era, they then said, no, we want to be free. We want freedom, we want to rule ourselves in many respects. If you take what happened even before that, it's a story that is hidden by them. So we started to say we want to be free. But they were clear that there was particular places they are not going to just agree. But others will say, fine. For a variety of reasons, things that need our own to start this. What was happening to these people when they were saying to us, we are their subordinate? So, they did not say, because we took a land here, now that we are told we must leave, let us go away. They actually maintain those places as their colonies. What they were doing, they were taking everything that was meant for us by God, taking it to Europe, so that Europe should look fine, shiny, having everything to eat. We were supposed to be starved because our things that were making us to live were being taken across. All the big ships, as they do it now, they've been doing it for centuries, taking our own instead of buying from us. So came a time when we said we know when to be free. And then everybody said fine. But it was not like one yes. It was okay, we're here. So, we got our heroes who came up and said, let us fight for our freedom. After this is the point that I'm just making, which is long and very serious, is what I think we cannot ignore it as Africans. We can't. Because we must finally be on our own.
Yes.
When there was negotiations for us to be freed, they took to us as if they were talking to small babies. We can't run a country. And therefore we are going to be given some period just to check whether you can run the country. It's them telling us in our own land, in our own country, in our own thing. So there were what was called, I don't know whether it was 1 year, wherein the leaders who asked for freedom in a number of countries would be asked to stay for a period so that they check whether you can rule. But the reason was how they are going to put us in a hole so that we do what they want us to do.
Yeah.
First was self-government. Just govern yourself, see whether you can govern. Then if you say yes, say, now we are now governed. You can rule, but we are here. Africa, because others resisted to give freedom to black people. Even if we had established organizations to call that we need freedom, they just were not prepared to do so. No matter whether you establish a political, very strong, etc., they were just not prepared. Because the land that they had from us was their own according to themselves. And those who got free in some parts of the continent sympathized with their brothers and began to come together for freedom. We ended up establishing an organization of the Africans. But in other countries, they were not saying a word. That led to some in the continent saying, let us fight for our freedom. There is an example of one of our leaders, Oliver Tambo, after the whites in South Africa said the ANC must be closed down because they were not interested in discussing the issue. I'm quoting Tambo because one of the leaders was before Tambo, Chief Lutu, had raised an issue after the war, after the World War, wherein there were decisions taken, including to say we are no longer having slaves or people that are lower than others. There must be equality of everyone. And it was said. Chief Lutuli addressing his leadership in South Africa said, the West has said, we are free, there is freedom taken by the whole world. And why we in Africa, we don't seem to be part of that. Because they are still treating us as people who have got no right at all. And that meeting took a decision that Oliver Tambo must go to Western countries and argue this case. And that's why he went to London. It was not long. The ANC was banned. That led us to say, let us fight for our freedom. Then an organization called overseas was established to fight the whites in South Africa. They did not want this. They arrested people, they did everything. And I'm sure it is well known that as a result of that decision taken by us, led by President Mandela, and there is a long debate that went to that, they said no, everybody jailed. And the leaders, particularly in South Africa, they were all taken to jail, led by Madiba, Sulu, and others. And they spent, yes, the Madiba, I think, spent 16 years sitting in prison, together with Sisulu, because they were arrested just before the bigger group was arrested. Tambo went to the Western world to say, we need you to train our people so that we can liberate ourselves, as we have taken a decision. They said, sorry, the Western countries, all of them, said to him, we cannot give you training, because if we do so, we'll be saying we must go and kill our brothers and sisters in South Africa. So sorry. That led to leaders going to the Eastern world, where they got the support for us to be able to fight and defend and finally defeat ourselves. It has been a painful life for us from the whites. And I don't think we should hide that. I know people want to hide it as if
Nope, don't
it's
hide
not
it.
a right, it's not a correct thing to say so. Because they did everything. They have been digging our economy since that time up to this time. In fact, in South Africa, it looks like there is looting, because the manner in which they are taking the things that are being digged down, it shocks you. The trucks towards the sea, they are there every other minute, because they realize we are not very far to say stop it. As we began to be part of the struggle to liberate Africa, we were saying, particularly our leaders, let us come together. Let us have one Africa,
Yes.
so that we can be able to do what is supposed to be done by us.
Yes.
One by one, some countries got their independence. Others, there was nothing like that. Some countries had to fight seriously. It became a big issue, particularly in Southern Africa, wherein there are whites who came there and sat, and they then even named themselves with a name, which was not a name from Europe. South Africa, in particular, was cut into 4 countries within one country. After the abolition of slavery, the whites who are called Afrikaners, who had come to South Africa, they were in the Cape. When the British said, sorry, there's going to be no slave now, they boycotted to stay in the Cape and said they are going to find their country within a country. They moved into a particular place which they said is a wonderful place. There were people there who had been living there all the time. They called this portion of the land as their own. They called it orange. Yes, 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 yes. They named our place through their name where they came from. So we ended up with a country. Half of those other people went further to look for their country as well. And they found, what is this other one? Huh? We are from Free State. Yes, Transvaal. Called Transvaal. So there were 2 countries in South Africa that were built by people who came there, just separated the country. Towards the sea, the British, Cape Town belonged to them, and Natal. So automatically we ended up with about 4 countries taken by whites. It's just one story, because many stories were done in Africa. That is what led to us as Africans to say, let us fight for our freedom. That's why the ANC was established as a national organization to fight for freedom. They took the land, they took everything. They pushed our people into an area they thought was not rich. Only now they've discovered. It is very serious that we as the Africans, these people, because of the power they had, they did everything to us. But we fought. There are many leaders in Africa who accumulated that we are in a difficulty. We need our freedom. We need everything. And indeed, some of the leaders were free first. They were very clear that what freedom is. And the white people decided to say, these ones are getting clever. Let us do something. They decided to create what they called that when you say you are free, we as white were going to take you out. Particularly those who became very strong in saying we need our Africa as it is. They created another instrument of theirs, which is called what's it? Coup d'etats. Coup d'etats. Wherein they will pay some of us to overthrow the government who was elected by the people and become dictators. That was the beginning of a problem interfering with the demand we've been making. I'm sure you know all of them. At times they will wait until the leader leaves the country to go and do business. They will not come back because they will take over. Somebody, some tenant, someone, somebody will take over. And they were paid by them. They were making us now to fight among ourselves. Very clear brains that were there, showing the way how we are going to win, how we are going to run our country, how we are going to unite. They were working behind to interfere with it. Coup d'etats became the daily thing. Africa, in other words, was being again directed in another direction. And many people died. However, as we're dealing with that issue, an organization was established, the OAU, which had very clear things that were said by our leaders, that we need to be one, to unite. I must be honest, today I can't tell you what happens to our organization. If they saw that there were people who were wanting to correct the wrongs, they were killed, some of them just taken away. So what had become a liberation to defeat the enemy, it disappeared. If you take Southern Africa, there was a time where there were such fights to liberate ourselves. Whether you talk about Angola, Mozambique, many of the countries there. And the leaders who were coming, they were very clear. But it was clear from some that, man, we have a problem here because our enemies have never left us on our own to do what we want. They wanted to do everything they do, it must be them who tell us what to do, what not to do. Great leaders were taken away, some going to visit, they won't come back. In other words, that thing which I said at the beginning, that people from Europe chose their own countries. They believed they were still their countries. The problem that emerged was, how do you deal with these people if you can't deal with them the way you have been dealing with them? The struggle in the continent slowly turned around. The coming together, you found very big countries having problems. Even now, there are barriers everywhere. It is the same people and the same influence that influence us, not to think as Africans. We can count a lot of them. It has been very, very difficult to come together, and we've tried. And also because some of us have views in many ways. We as Africans, I think, will fail to get to the end of asking for our freedom. The British, French in particular, and others just made it difficult to have our freedoms. And Africa somewhere, which was moving to liberate all Africa, just disappeared in our eyes. I think we have things that have happened which will help perhaps to tell the story. In South Africa, the leaders were very strong, said that we must develop a document that is going to tell everybody how South Africa must be run. They called it the Freedom Charter, wherein all the people met at one point to develop that point. It was our thing that was saying, this is how we're going to see South Africa. But our enemies made it a point that they take that document out of moving around, because it was a communist document according to them. Leaders were charged for high treason just for that document. But the leaders who were charged won the case. they argued their case. So those who were supposed to go to jail managed to defend themselves. But I can tell you now that that document, what has been put on it, is a section of that document. Because they said this document was communistic. And it was never done by the communists, it was done by the nationalists who understood what they were doing. But they said no. So they took in that document in the main the rights of the people, the rights. Whether it was talking about how to nationalize the mines, etc., it has never been done up to this day. Equal freedom charter. But in the years that we have been there, we have not said this is what we want these countries to live. Gradually, our fighting for our liberation was quietly being undermined. And now, nobody can say it's not undermined. It is undermined. It's more open now. If you see what has been happening in the other areas, you'll realize this. When Mozambique freedom, Samora Machel believed that he was going to change that country into a country. Precisely because he was articulating how Mozambique must be. They went for him. We ended up with an army which we did not know who was the commander, that fought Mozambique, disrupted Mozambique. And Samora Machel was forced at some point to sign an accord with South Africa because the situation had been just beyond anything. They finally killed Samora Machel in a train because they realized he was causing problems. And Mozambique was never the same. In fact, in the last elections in Mozambique, I'm sure many of us realized how much we Africans were fighting. No harmony. I'm saying that as an example to prove the point that they've been trying again to do their own in order to protect their interests. Today in Africa, it is difficult to say this is what we're doing. And I don't want to take more time on that one because it is important that we all try to talk to one another. How should we? There are wars that have been fought here by us now, when we are supposed to be free. The fact that Africa belongs to all of us, why are we killing one another about the borders?
Right.
It is partly our enemies who would not want that there must be peace in the South Africa, in the continent of Africa. There are leaders who said things absolutely fitting to what we're talking about. All of that has been put aside. This country has done something that all of us should be learning from. If you look at us and you look at the OAU, whatever the OAU was doing in the past, they are no longer doing it. When we heard that people here have said no, 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 we want to take our country, correct thing, absolutely. And stopped the colonizers so that they can run their country. What did Africa do? Sorry, What did the OAU do? They isolated this country and said, this is coup d'etat. Coup d'etat is a long day. Our people can't even read as a thing written with big kind of things. Because what this country has done was to stop that it is a colony of a country outside there.
Right.
When the OAU said, we are boycotting this country because that's a coup, the coup d'etat. We just talk languages which we don't even understand what they mean. Because this is not what they say. Africans here decided to take their own country to themselves. Simple. It is not a coup d'etat. It is taking back your country from the criminals. But what is even worse is that it is not the whites who are doing that. The African to another African. That tells you how far we are to reach our destiny. Even those in the past who were very vocal, they're quiet. They are now quiet. They're no longer talking about anything. Africa is on its own. The question that stands for us, what are we doing? Are we going to be what we are forever? Or we are going to correct the wrongs and be ourselves?
Correct the wrong.
you notice, there is no longer peace among ourselves in the continent of Africa. In fact, there are wars that have been fought in different areas. Why? It is because our enemies are making it sure that we don't succeed to have Africa in our hands. I can say this with no problem. One of the countries, South Africa, which emerged earlier with people who were thinking and were clear, and they developed a document I called, the one I said is a document that was accepted by the people of South Africa, not by a political party. But today, South Africa is something you cannot explain. The question that remains with us, what must we do as Africans? I have a belief that if we do our things right, we'll end up with this Africa being free, no wars in the borders, not saying you are not, we don't belong here, we belong to Africa. Africans chase you away because we are interfering with the borders. We belong here. We need to unite, as our big leaders will say, be ready to have Africa in our hands. We need to stop the wealth of this continent being taken away. It belongs to us. Who want to buy it, they must buy it from us. There are many of our brothers and sisters who died, who were arrested, blah, blah, blah. When shall that end? Who will make it to end? It needs us. It needs us as Africans to do things the way we need to do. There's a very funny thing in the continent of Africa. I think in other places outside of Africa, the wars have ended actually. If there are, they are small here and there. With us, they are perpetually there. Who will take us out of trouble? We need to take ourselves out of trouble. There are things that were prescribed by our enemies, which we believe they are like God. You can't change them. Why? Why? You go around, you find that in our country, our enemies allow to be confused because they want to use that to satisfy themselves. So, we have come because that people that don't see, they don't see this. We decided to do what was very difficult. African National Congress is our organization, my organization. I've done something funny. Because that is an organization I said I would die for. But it is now in the hands that are not thinking like that. What then I did as an individual, I said, I'm leaving the ANC from voting for it, but I'm going to be the member. Because it's an organization I suffered for. And it's an organization I'm saying, once we win election, we're going to take it away from wrong people. So that our ancestors, about Mandela Tambo, should not say we abandoned them. And it is absolutely straightforward. Because it is, in my view, wrong people doing something which they're not supposed to do. We need all of us to come and say, Africa, come together. This country is doing fantastic work. Fantastic work. Which should be helping to influence other Africans.
Yeah.
That time has come. We can't miss this opportunity.
Yes. We can't miss it.
We have, as black people, our kids are drinking and doing everything. And no one is saying, how do we correct this? That is why we have said in South Africa, once we take over, we are going to make the laws which are not based on the laws of the whites from abroad. Our own. It is going to be a serious matter. Very serious matter. Fortunately, Africans in South Africa are with us in Umkhonto weSizwe. They're very clear. We cannot take the efforts of our ancestors fighting for liberation of our country and just sit as if nothing is wrong.
That's right, that's right.
A lot is wrong. We have declared in South Africa that young boys who finish matric, they must go and be soldiers. So that we here human beings to defend Africa. And there are many things we have talked about. And we are very clear. Because the time of our liberation has changed. It's no longer the same. And I don't think we should nurse one another. Because it's not going to help us. We are here to liberate black people. We must not be shy of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And for that, we are going to do everything we can to ensure that Africa comes back where it was. I'm very happy that this country has showed us the way. There is nothing more than this to do that we can say we are doing something else. No. You need us being brave, being clear, so that we can bring back Africa. Ever since I arrived here in our country, in Africa, I'm so impressed by the issue of leaders here leading themselves to a final destination. The challenge that faces us, which we could not even deal with from the beginning, and as I said to our brothers and sisters the other day, that for the fact that Africa failed to say after freedom, let us bring our brothers where they were taken to, out there. We should have done that, in fact, as a continent. To me, the leader here is one of the most perfect leaders. We are going to be together and fight to liberate Africa. I don't worry even if in the course of doing that one goes to heaven. It will be for a good reason. And now we actually have an opportunity to correct our things.
Yes. Yes.
Because we have different types of friends, not the ones who came to make us suffer. It's a question of how we're going to coordinate ourselves and create the Africa that we've been yearning for. And I believe that the time has come. The time has come. We must be serious about it. Because if we are not serious, they will once again play around us.
True.
And what I've heard here says to me, but where were our ancestors all these years? Well, they should have helped our brothers who went astray. So, we are saying Africa, in a serious sense, must come back where it's supposed to be. Wherever Africans are, the brothers and sisters who came here from abroad, I think we needed to have more discussions, because we must say this is their real home. If it is possible, they can stay there because they've been there anyway. But this is a home. They must be able to say, I'm going to Africa to my brothers and sisters. I think all of us as Africans, we know the pains, even if we hear, we did not see them. They were brutal. And we must say that must end. Africa belongs to us. For you to see how they look down upon us, or they talk about the East, the West. They don't talk about the middle, us. Because we are not human beings, according to them. And I think we must teach them a lesson.
Yes, that's it. Let's do it. Yes.
What has been started here should in fact influence the continent. I must tell you, I like to say this. When I was once told I need to be the president of South Africa, I came to the AU, OAU, opened up, everybody came in, we're talking, and suddenly the chair says, well, others can come out now. The ones who remain are the only ones who were supposed to be here. And yes, people went out. But whilst we were sitting, I looked back, I saw a group of whites sitting. I said, why those ones have not went out? I was told, no. They become the part of us. I couldn't understand. Why? Because they were putting money to the organization. And we must then discuss everything of our own within them. That is the problem we have. In other words, they are part of us when they are not part of us.
That's right.
I think Africa has enough to look after itself. I'm beginning to feel that leaders like the leaders here, we need to be more closer so that we can influence others. Well, there are many who can influence. Africa must be free in the true sense of the word. Because we've been said we are free when we're not free. And I'm happy that we can meet like this and discuss the issue of the African problem and correct the wrongs. It is our time. Our time has come. Let us implement what we're supposed to do. I'm sure the time is gone, and I'm sure we have time to talk about other things on details and also discuss about how do we move forward quicker.
Yes.
It is our duty to do so. Let us liberate ourselves. We are contesting South Africa, and we believe we are partly because we won. The whites again, the same people, changed things. And we put a case, up to this day that case is not set, but they're afraid to be in court. But nevertheless, our approach is that we are going to take over that country. And we are going to change it so that it becomes the country of the people whom they found there, rather than the people who just prayed. We are hating no one. We are just correcting the wrongs that I talked about in the beginning. We are correcting the wrongs. And we're serious about it. And we want Africans to be serious about Africa. I'm very happy, brothers and sisters, that we have this opportunity. I'm sure there will be more time to discuss more detailed issues. But I'm very happy that we meet like this in a country that we can speak freely without any fear. It is certainly very wonderful to be here because you are in a place that you feel it sounds real African.
Yes.
We are in Africa. We are not the Africa that is borrowed by other people across the seas. So, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I'm sure we who are here are going to tell Africans wherever we are, the time has come for Africans to end in Africa. Thank you very much.
President Zuma. Now, I think there's some question. We'll up on the list, and or can go directly to the question to